I wasn't born a man of faith. I was raised to believe in work, logic, and justice. That if you put in the effort, life will pay you back. I trusted reason more than revelation, discipline more than devotion. I thought that was enough. You do good, you help people, you tell the truth, that's the deal. No need to bring God into it. For most of my life, I believed that. Every award, every headline, every handshake, I took them as proof that I was living right. The world clapped, and I clapped with it. Success became my compass. Integrity, I thought, was the same thing as salvation. But the older I got, the quieter that applause felt. The noise faded faster each time, and what followed was always the same silence. There's a kind of silence that's heavier than sound. You sit in a hotel room after a night of being celebrated, and it feels like the air itself is asking you questions you can't answer. Is this it? Is this all there is? I brushed it off at first, told myself I just needed more work, another project, another goal. But deep down, I knew something was missing. Something I couldn't earn, buy, or act my way into. That's when the question hit me, simple but sharp. If being good is enough, then why do I still feel lost? I started looking at my life differently. The times I had lost my temper, the people I judged too harshly, the pride I called confidence. I realized even my best days were still marked by imperfection. If God is perfect and I'm not, how do I ever reach him? I remember one night, a small personal crisis, nothing public, just me coming face to face with myself. I'd run out of answers. The control I'd built my life on slipped right through my hand. And for the first time, I couldn't fix it. I couldn't reason my way out. That night didn't break me, it humbled me. That's when the search began. Not for religion, not for rules, but for truth. I wanted to know why doing everything right still didn't feel right. I wanted to know if there was something or someone beyond my own effort, and that journey led me here. Because somewhere along the way, I learned a truth that changed everything. Goodness is not the gate to heaven, grace is. I thought I understood what it meant to be good until I learned what it means to be forgiven. There was a time I thought life was fair, that if you did good, good things came back. Simple math. Be honest, work hard, treat people right, and somehow the universe would keep the score even. But life doesn't always work like that, does it? You watch a kind man lose his child. You watch someone cruel rise to power. You pray for healing, and nothing happens. And suddenly, the question hits harder than any sermon ever could. If God is good, why do good people suffer? That question followed me everywhere. I didn't want to sound ungrateful. I'd been blessed. But deep down, I was angry. Angry at injustice. Angry at silence. Angry that I couldn't make sense of a world that seemed upside down. We humans love fairness. We build our lives around it. You earn what you get. But God's justice doesn't always look like ours. We count deeds. He weighs hearts. And that's a harder truth to swallow. Because sometimes the man who gets rewarded isn't the one who worked hardest, but the one who learned how to forgive. I've seen pain break people. I've also seen it make them unshakable. So I started asking myself, is pain punishment or preparation? When everything fell apart once in my own life, I thought God was mad at me. I begged for answers. None came, just silence. But in that silence, something shifted. I didn't get clarity, I got peace. It was like God was saying, I'm not punishing you, I'm preparing you. I learned faith doesn't prove itself in comfort. It proves itself in fire. Anyone can believe when life is good, but real faith survives when the light goes out. Sometimes God doesn't say yes. Sometimes he says, trust me. There's a bigger plan at work, one I can't always see. I've stopped trying to read the whole map. I just walk the next step. He shows me. If I can trust him with eternity, I can trust him with tomorrow. Now, when I look back, I see purpose in every scar. God never wasted a single pain. Every wound taught me something: compassion, humility, dependence. I used to think pain was a wall. Turns out it was a doorway. Not everything that happens is good, but God can make good out of everything that happens. His no has saved me more than his yes. I've learned that delays aren't denials, they're lessons. Some questions don't get answered on this side of heaven, and that's okay. Faith isn't demanding explanations, it's believing there's meaning, even when I can't see it. So now, when suffering knocks on my door, I remember one thing. If I believe God is good, then I have to trust he knows what's best even when it hurts. I didn't go looking for God, I went looking for answers. Faith, to me, was something other people needed, the ones who'd lost their way, who couldn't explain life with logic. I trusted reason, discipline, work. If you do good, you live right, that's enough. But somewhere along the way, the questions started getting louder. Not dramatic ones, just quiet, persistent ones. Why do I still feel empty? Why do I need more proof to believe something millions already live by? So I started reading, not praying, not worshiping, just reading. The Bible wasn't supposed to move me, it was supposed to make sense. I wanted to see if this whole thing could hold up under logic. But the more I read, the more it felt like the book was reading me. I saw something I didn't expect. It didn't talk like religion. It talked like truth. It didn't try to control me. It tried to reach me. It wasn't shouting rules. It whispered about grace. And grace, that word stopped me, because I'd spent my whole life trying to earn everything: respect, success, forgiveness. The idea that someone could love me before I proved I deserved it, that didn't make sense. And yet, it felt right. I started realizing the difference between being good and being saved. I'd done good things. I'd helped people. But there was still a gap, something I couldn't close with effort. Goodness can't erase guilt. Morality can't clean a soul. And heaven isn't a trophy you win. You don't earn heaven, you accept it. That truth shook me. I'd always thought I needed better rules, stronger willpower. But I didn't need more rules. I needed redemption. Because no matter how moral we pretend to be, there's still pride, still jealousy, still selfishness. Even the best of us fall short. That's when I began to study Jesus, not as a character, but as a claim. If he was who he said he was, then this wasn't religion, it was rescue. Every religion said, do. Jesus said, done. He wasn't asking me to climb to heaven, he came down to reach me. And that's when faith stopped feeling like obligation and started feeling like invitation. Religion told me to behave. Faith told me I belong. I didn't feel judged anymore. I felt known. One night, reading again, I came across the story of grace. I don't even remember the verse. I just remember closing the book and sitting there still. And I heard myself say, if he's real, what am I going to do about it? That question didn't scare me. It felt alive. I'd spent my life studying words, but now the word was studying me. And for the first time, I wasn't trying to understand God, I was letting him understand me. I believed in God with my mind, but not yet with my heart. I could quote verses. I'd read the books, talk to pastors, debated the ideas, but deep down, I was still holding the wheel. I wanted faith to make sense, to fit neatly between logic and control. I wanted to understand before I'd ever trust, but it doesn't work that way. There came a night when I sat alone, no noise, no crowd, just me and the quiet. That's when the question started echoing. Can I believe in something I can't prove? One voice told me, don't be naive. Another whispered, what if it's true? I realized I wasn't afraid of being wrong. I was afraid of losing control. For years, I'd built my life on strength, on self-reliance. But strength can become a cage when it keeps you from being honest. And then everything I thought I had under control started to fall apart. Not dramatically, just slowly, quietly. The applause didn't hit the same. The success didn't satisfy. The mirror didn't lie. Maybe the thing I'd been calling strength was just fear in disguise that broke something in me. For the first time, I saw the truth. I'd been trying to be my own savior. I tried to fix, earn, explain everything, and it never worked. I could hold the world together for a while, but not forever. That night, I stopped pretending. I looked up, not out of habit, but out of exhaustion. And I said, God, I don't have it all figured out, but I can't do this without you. That was it. No fancy words, no thunder, no miracles, just honesty. And then silence, but it wasn't empty, it was full. For the first time in my life, I felt peace, not the kind you earn, not the kind success gives you, real peace. Quiet, steady, deep. Faith didn't show up as emotion, it showed up as surrender. I used to think freedom meant doing whatever I wanted. Turns out, freedom begins the moment you stop trying to be in control of everything. For years, I thought surrender was weakness, but it was strength, the kind that doesn't need to prove anything. That night, I stopped asking for proof and started asking for presence. No checklist, no conditions, just a quiet, trembling yes. It wasn't about giving up, it was about giving in. And when I finally let go of control, I found real freedom. Because faith doesn't start with answers, it starts with surrender. Faith didn't make my life easier, it made me different. It didn't flip a switch or paint the world in gold. Change came quiet, slow, one choice at a time. A softer word where I used to raise my voice. A moment of patience where pride once snapped. No fireworks, just a new kind of peace moving in, almost unnoticed. The real miracle wasn't around me, it was in me. I used to think success meant control, the next role, the next award, the next headline. But when I met God, that definition started falling apart. I began to see that faithfulness mattered more than fame. Winning in God's eyes doesn't always look like winning to the world. Sometimes it means losing something that was never meant to hold you anyway. Failure stopped feeling like failure. It became training ground, a place where I learned who I was when applause faded. And I realized God wasn't after my performance, He was after my heart. Forgiveness was the hardest part. I used to hold grudges like armor. I thought it made me strong. It didn't. It made me tired. The day I finally said, I forgive you, I wasn't setting them free. I was setting me free. Forgiveness isn't for them. It's for you. And it's the only road that leads to peace. Humility and gratitude came next. Two words I never liked much, but they changed everything. Humility didn't shrink me, it released me. Gratitude didn't fix my problems, it shifted my focus. I started thanking God not because everything was good, but because He was still there when it wasn't. The world didn't stop pressing in. The lights, the schedules, the expectations, they stayed. But peace found me anyway, because peace isn't the absence of pressure, it's the presence of purpose. I didn't need to prove anything anymore. I just needed to walk with him. I started asking a new question, not what do people think, but what honors God. That one question changed everything. It quieted the noise. It realigned the compass. Success wasn't about spotlight anymore. It was about service. Love, that's another thing I had to relearn. I used to think love was earned, conditional, deserved. But grace doesn't work that way. If grace found me, I have no right to withhold it from anyone. So I started loving differently, even the ones who never said sorry. Because love isn't emotion, it's a decision. And goodness, I used to chase it. Now, it just follows. I don't do good to earn grace. I do good because I've already received it. Grace changed the reason behind everything I do. Prayer became less about asking, more about being. I talk to God like I talk to a friend, honest, raw, real. Sometimes he speaks, sometimes he doesn't. But I've learned silence can be an answer too. God didn't make me perfect, he made me new. Faith didn't change the world around me, it changed how I walked through it. And the more I walked with him, the clearer I saw Jesus wasn't just a teacher. He was the way itself. If all roads lead to God, then why did Jesus have to die? That question stopped me cold. I'd heard it all my life, that every faith teaches people to be good, to love, to do what's right. So why would one man's death matter more than the rest? I wasn't looking to win an argument. I just wanted the truth. Not what sounded good, what was real. The more I looked, the harder it became to ignore what he said. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. That wasn't poetry. That was a claim that left no middle ground. Either he was who he said he was, or he was a liar. You can't call someone a good teacher if he claimed to be God. Either he's truth or he's nothing. For a long time, I thought religion was a ladder. Do enough, climb high enough, maybe you'll reach God. But faith showed me something else entirely. Religion says, do enough, maybe you'll reach him. Faith says, he came down because you never could. That hit me hard. I'd spent my life trying to be good, trying to live right, trying to earn something I couldn't even name. Then I asked, why did someone have to die? Why couldn't God just forgive? And the answer came clear as day, because real justice doesn't look the other way. Sin doesn't vanish just because we wish it did. It has to be paid for. And the only one who could pay was someone perfect, a perfect man for a broken world. He didn't die because we were good. He died because we couldn't be. Grace hit me like a truth I'd always known but never said out loud. Grace isn't a paycheck, it's a gift. And every time I tried to earn it, I missed it. All those years I spent climbing, God had already come down. Then came the cross. Not a decoration, not a symbol of guilt, a bridge. The place where justice and mercy shook hands. It wasn't God's backup plan. It was his plan all along. At the cross, sin was punished, but people were forgiven. That's why I can't look at it without seeing hope, from guilt to grace. Every other religion points to a path. Jesus pointed to himself. He didn't promise to remove pain, he promised to conquer death, and he did. He didn't stay in the grave, and if that's true, then everything changes. At some point, I had to stop standing in the middle. I couldn't call him just a good man anymore. If he really died for me, I had to decide what I was going to do about it. Truth demands a response. Even silence is still an answer. So I chose, not out of fear, not out of tradition, out of conviction. If he died for me, then I'll live for him. That's not obligation, that's gratitude. The cross didn't just change history, it changed me. I used to think faith was about reaching higher. Now I know it's about surrendering to the one who already reached for me. I thought I found faith, but really, faith found me. I used to think faith was for the desperate. Now I know it's for the honest. When I look back, I don't see a man who figured it all out. I see a man who ran out of himself. I chased meaning through work, fame, money, purpose. Turns out, meaning was chasing me. And when it finally caught me, it didn't look like success, it looked like surrender. Before Christ, I had everything people said would make you whole: success, recognition, respect. But peace, that was missing. I used to measure peace by how quiet life was. Now, I measure it by how close I am to Him. Faith didn't make me perfect, it made me forgiven. I didn't get a new life, I got a new heart. For a long time, I thought believing meant joining a religion, showing up, following rules, acting right. But that's not what this is. Religion told me to behave. Faith told me to belong. God isn't far away. He's as close as the breath in my lungs. You don't have to reach Him. He's already reaching for you. To anyone searching right now, start with one honest question. Don't look for religion. Look for truth. Open the Bible, not like a skeptic trying to win, but like a person searching for air. Don't take my word for it. Take His. God isn't hiding. He's waiting. And if you're listening and thinking, I've fallen too far, hear me clearly, you haven't. I've been there. I've doubted. I've failed. I've tried to fix myself before coming to Him. It never worked. You don't have to clean yourself up before you come to God. Come first. He'll handle the cleaning. Grace meets you where you fall, not where you pretend to stand. The moment I let go, peace came rushing in. Not because I figured it out, but because I stopped trying to be in control. You can't hold the world and grace at the same time. One has to go. And when I finally released my grip, He took hold of me. Peace isn't the absence of pain, it's the presence of purpose. I still face storms, but now I know who's in the boat with me. I'm not preaching. I'm just telling you I've been where you are. Faith doesn't always change what's around you. It changes how you see it. If you've ever wondered if God still sees you, He does. You don't need a perfect prayer. Just say, God, if you're real, show me. That's where it starts. He's not asking for perfection, just honesty. Everything in my life changed, not because I tried harder, but because He came closer. Grace didn't find me once. It keeps finding me every day. If He could reach me, He can reach anyone. Don't wait for the perfect moment. This is the moment. My story isn't about a man who found God. It's about a God who never stopped finding me. If this story speaks to you, share your thoughts below. Tell me what part of your journey you're in, because maybe your story starts right here.